this morning. We usually start off with birthdays. Can we do those really quick, Gene, so we just don't miss any of the kids maybe getting off the bus that might be having a birthday today? And then we'll forget about what else we were going to do and talk to these cool people. Yeah. All right.
Well, you got your light. I got my light because
you should probably see a doctor.
No, it's just so dark over here. I mean, could you read that if there was no light on it?
Yeah, but I'm old.
Yeah.
See,
I'm sorry, Mike.
It's darker in this corner than you have. You've got a light over you. All right, so we have Jacob Chalmers, Morgan Verbeck, Pat Thompson, Chris Carpenter, and Denny Detmer.
Wow, all sorts of people you know and love and that you can point at and laugh when you see them in town today. And then tell them we were talking about them on the radio. And then happy birthday. All right. On to the wonderful Chamber of Commerce. We've got Mr. Mike Bentz in here, of course, who is one of the leaders up at the Chewelah Golf and Country Club, and I imagine things are getting real pretty up there.
They are. They're getting beautiful, actually.
All right.
I actually took a picture the other day and posted it, and it's beautiful green and lush, and I said, it's hard to believe 3 weeks ago there were 18 inches of snow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It disappeared fast this year, didn't it?
Really?
I know up at our tower site, it was like, okay, 3 weeks ago I drove through 6 feet of snow in a snowcat, and today I drove up in my Tracker. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think about.
It really is.
Well, not only that, but on top of it, morel mushrooms are out.
Oh.
I found some yesterday.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And then to the right of Mike, I don't think I even have everybody on the camera today. I don't know what I was thinking. We have Joan Thompson from the Chewelah Farmers Market and, of course, Burnt Valley Farms. Right, Joan?
Right.
All right. Give you a little plug on the farm there, too.
Thanks.
All right. So, Mike, what's going on this weekend? I know Saturday is a big day for the Chamber, an annual event.
A big day, that's the annual citywide cleanup day. And everybody's going to get together at the Napa parking lot at 8 o'clock. And I think the last chamber meeting, Sherry said it was like 100 or 110 people are expected to show up.
Wow.
So big crowd.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. It tells you the sense of community that's out there. It really does. They're looking for brooms and blowers. Can never have enough brooms. And then, of course, the leaf blowers make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
That'd be fun.
So all of a sudden at 8:30, if you hear this, all these blowers, firing up, it's not an F-15 jet coming into town.
Right.
We're not in trouble.
You're not in trouble, yeah. So
I'd wanna like hook it to a skateboard though. And see how fast you could go. Wouldn't that be fun?
Okay.
Don't ride with Gene.
Yeah, I'm thinking, all right, okay. But anyway, so if you could show up, they'll direct you where to go, and everybody will have their little section, and they'll take it from there. I think, if I remember right, there was 5 or 6 different community groups that are coming down as a group to do that. The Boy Scouts, I know for one, for sure, the Lions. And actually, there's a huge group cleaning up 395 from about where Dr. Paul Larson's office is on up to the north end where the high school football field and stuff is. So it's just a great turnout for everybody to get involved. And then once it's all done, Windermere graciously has said, hey, we'll provide lunch.
Nice.
And, just show up in their parking lot. They're going to have their barbecuers going or whatever. And then Evan Schlock said that, I'll bring my famous barbecued smoked beans.
Wow.
So, what better deal? I think they open up, you'll have like coffee and donuts or something there too, although don't quote me on that. I think it is. And then you end up and you get a pretty nice lunch and, of course, visit with your neighbors and do all that types of thing.
And all the feel-good stuff that goes along with having done all that.
Correct, yeah. And I think Jim Wallace and his crew are going to repaint the curbs, where they do all the red and the yellow and all that good stuff, so that'll pop.
You didn't hear the forecast this morning, did you?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, they'll keep the dust down.
Okay.
There will be no dust.
There'll be no dust?
There will be no dust on Saturday.
Okay.
Unless there's a massive change in the way. She's like frowning. She doesn't want me to talk about it. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
All right. I'm just saying.
Oh, well,
you know what, though? I will say it's going to be, it'll be warm. Right. So if it does, it won't be, and we're not saying the word because we don't want to make it so. Yeah. But if it does, it won't be bad. And you know what? No. Just grab one of those garbage bags you're using and pull it over your head. It's not that difficult.
Well, cut a hole first.
Oh yeah. I remember that one time you did that. You didn't cut the hole.
Yeah, I put armholes in it. Otherwise, you can't work.
Everybody had to get down on the ground and start trying to tear it off her because she was choking and flapping all over. All right, sorry, Gene. I can picture that, though.
Just remember, I'll get you back.
Okay, all right. So awesome barbecue at noon after all the cleanup.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
So now we're here at the studios. I've never been able to participate in the citywide cleanup because it always happens on tryout day. It's because we always do the last 2 weekends in April for tryouts and the first weekend for the show. So I've never been able to do it, which means I've never been able to enjoy the lunch. Do you think it would be a problem if the judges came over to Windermere and got lunch? Because last Saturday I had to feed them all, and that got kind of expensive. So you think you talk to Evan for me?
Well, as long as you pick up trash on the way and show up with a garbage.
Okay, so it looked like we were doing something.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Does it count if I bring my trash from home?
Yeah.
No.
Trash from the radio station?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay, good.
but she brings her Honda. Isn't that bringing trash from home?
Low. Well, just
Although I
gotta
still have visions of that 3-point turn coming down off the hill when it's icy.
Oh,
You know.
I luckily have never done that with that little Honda, which is a miracle because it's a CRX.
Okay.
And they have more power in that motor for the size of vehicle. I have to admit that it is a lot of fun. But that poor car, 363,000 miles on that car.
Wow.
Original motor, original tranny. Wow. I can't believe it
They're
still
good
runs.
cars. They're really good.
I had a little one like that. I had the one that looked like a wedge, though, and that was 400,000 miles by the time the doors fell off. Car still ran and drove, but none of the plastic was still together. You could just pick up the driver's seat and set it outside the car to vacuum and then set it back in.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything was rusted. All right, let's go get back on now. Let's talk about, I guess it kind of leads right into this, beautification.
Beautification, the
painting
chamber.
rails, and where's that at? Painting rails.
Where the Chewelah Creek goes under 395.
Okay.
There's rails on both sides.
Yeah.
And one of the things the chamber decided to do is to make those look pretty.
Okay.
And so they're going to be painted this coming weekend. And then we've purchased some planters. And so once they're all done, there's going to be planters hanging on the rails and flowers put in it and things like that.
Okay.
So
I like how he said we're going to make them look pretty.
well, it's a rail.
Yeah.
But it'll look a lot nicer. How's that sound?
All right.
And then once the planters are on there, it's just another one of those beautification projects. The chamber's famous for, frankly.
All right. It is. I love walking downtown at night.
Right.
If I go, if I feel like, I'm not tired, I'm going to take a walk, I'll walk sometimes around 11 o'clock. And downtown is dead during the week. But it's so pretty with all the light, especially in the summertime, you can just stop at one of the benches and sit there and huff and puff because I've been walking too hard. And but it's pretty and it's very peaceful. And I like downtown at night. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice if there was some more action going on, but it's
we're
pretty cool when it's
We're
quiet.
working on that. We'll let Joan bring that up.
All right. I knew we were going to head there.
Yeah, action's her middle name.
That's right.
So what else is going on for beautification?
The other thing is, the flowers that every year we get, they're projected to come in the week after Mother's Day.
Okay.
So not only, most of those flowers have to be put up, I think, by the city because, they get up on the lampposts and stuff like that. But there's a lot of flowers that go into pots. And so there'll be a call for volunteers to help with that. One of the challenges we have every year is keeping them watered and fertilized and things like that. And John Grimbach has volunteered to be the lead guy to do it all.
Aw, Grumpy John!
Which is, you got to give him a big shout out for that. I mean, it's... I love these retired guys. Says, I'm looking for something to do. And I took him aside and said, John, I'm a retired guy. You got to tone that down a little bit.
Pretty soon you find out you bought a bit off more than you can chew.
That's right. Right.
But chamber, rusty putter, all of those things.
Golf course, grave district, Carpa. Yeah, I brought my calendar up because we're resyncing it with the golf course, and Alyssa goes, if you keep putting stuff on your calendar, we're not going to have room on our calendar. I mean, just stay busy. I mean, that's what keeps you young and exciting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you quickly find that you were busier than you were when you were working. It seems like it gets weird really fast.
Yeah. One of the first things that pops in your mind is, how did I ever get this stuff done when I was working? Especially me. I was on the road. It was just very focused when, basically is what it ended up being. So plus, I have a couple kids that, they were. Shout out to them. I mean, they really took care of the home when I was gone, project-wise. So, So anyway, that's what's happening as far as beautification goes at the moment. There's more coming up, but it's a secret.
Okay.
I don't even know.
You don't. It's so secret. He doesn't even know.
That's right.
But I'm sure it's ladies that have that in hand, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Joan's like,
But it's
awesome ladies.
They are, and it's a very dynamic committee, and they've always got something going on.
So then you were talking about all the groups you're involved with. Did you join community celebrations?
No.
Okay. I was just checking because you've got like an update on Chautauqua.
Yeah,
and I was like, how did you get that info? Wow,
well,
you're sneaky.
Sharon Ludwig comes to the meetings, and the chamber meetings, and so she kind of gives us an update, and then.
And Sharon knows everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whenever we're planning an event, I just send her a message and say, "What's a good date for me, Sharon?"
Oh yeah. Well, she's one of the people who are working on the creative district, and we're putting together this letter of intent. Basically, we have to send into the state before we start the actual formal process. And by the time I told her that's enough, she had 90 plus days of events happening in Chewelah written down.
Wow.
And what's impressive to me is two things. First of all, 90 plus days. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is, here's a lady that's got it all recorded.
She is on, I don't know how she does it. She is on top of it.
She has the most amazing calendar date book thing going on. And she can flip through that thing, and she's got everything in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind-blowing. I don't know how she does it, but yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I've known her, she's had that book.
But anyway, so Chautauqua, of course, is coming up in July, and there's a lot of preparation that goes on the front end. That just doesn't happen. And
it seems like it does, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, no. And so there were three things that jumped out at me when Sharon was talking. First one was the vendors are almost full. And they've been almost full for a while now, actually. So
it must be going to be a banner year then.
It's going to be a banner year. The center stage and all that is completely full. That's all taken care of. If you're putting an ad in to the Independent, those ads have to be in the first week in June because that's a special edition almost that Jared has to send out and put together and things like that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
And
they print so many of them.
They print so many of them. Yeah,
I think even the rest of us that live out of the city suddenly get the Independent in our box. It's oh my gosh, the special Chautauqua edition.
Yeah, well, if I remember right, they print and distribute about 25,000 issues.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah,
big.
It's a big deal. So that's why it's got to get done on the early side of things. So if you're a business, I think it's a good name recognition thing. We do it every year, primarily for the name recognition more than anything else. We have the RV park and we have the restaurant and stuff like that, but more than anything, this is, we're here, I guess.
I remember the first Chautauqua that we were broadcasting, and this is just kind of a plug to Jared and Andrea. And I think it was Sherry did the advertising for them. She called up and wanted us to get a Chautauqua ad. We never have any money, and I said, right. Oh, thank you, but we can't. And then I open up when we're sitting down there broadcasting, and of course that's our Bible, the Chautauqua paper, when we're broadcasting, because it's got everything Chautauqua in it. So we're doing our break, getting ready to do like maybe the first break or whatever, and I'm flipping through the Chautauqua paper, and I open up, and here's this huge ad right in the center for KCHW. I was just like, oh man, they're so good to us. I mean, who does that? It's amazing. So.
It is. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up, and Sharon's mentioned this a couple of times, is it's been the same core group of people that have been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
And they really are looking for people to step in, start learning the system, kind of an OJT type thing. So, if you're inclined to do that, I would definitely get a hold of her.
We talk about it every year because Chautauqua, not picking on people, but the members that have been in Chautauqua running it have been there for years and years and years. And a lot of them are, I don't want to use it, retired.
Right.
And getting up there. And it's so much work. And I know some of them get very tired, and we've had a couple kind of slowly skate out.
Exactly.
And it's hard to replace those people. They need new young blood in there. I wish I could be more a part of that because they were very instrumental in getting the radio station and stuff started. But I don't have the time in that either. So I just kind of a plea to anybody that's like Nicole Albee just joined, and now she's been doing center stage for a couple years. And that's the first, I would say, young blood that Chautauqua's got in quite a while. So if you are a younger person and you got some free time, you're a middle-aged person, we need some people to get involved that can continue this, or as, and I hate to say things like that, but as people get older and maybe have more problems and can't do that, I think Chautauqua could die because the infrastructure isn't there to keep it going. And it's actually easy because the people that have been heading up Chautauqua, they've got the formula. They've got the roadmap. They've got the blueprint. So it's not like you have to come into this thing and pull your hair out in some kind of, weird learning curve. It's already there for you to follow.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Right. And it's to me, it's a mentorship, basically.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, it's so well organized that for somebody to come in, there is no fear. I mean, so you have to come in and basically you do this, you do that, and you've got phenomenal people for what I call the OJT, the on-the-job training type thing.
And if you've got a new idea or something, they're very receptive to that. Yeah.
So I think that from a chamber perspective especially, we're going to hear a little bit more about that. And a lot of the organizations are the same way. I had a person that used to be a supervisor of mine said one of the biggest challenges we had as a company is we've got people running the company that were around when Moby Dick was a minnow.
That's a nice way to put it, right?
And so, but that's true. So please step up and do that. So,
all right.
And then
join the team.
Join the team, exactly. And then, of course, the last thing is National Small Business Week is coming up from May 4th to May 11th. We're doing a couple things unique. One of it is I called it the bookends. We're going to have the citywide garage sale on May 4th, and then, of course, the farmers market's opening on the other end of the week, so we will be pushing that on both ends. And then this year, we decided to kind of have a secret photo thing. Sandy's going to go out and take 7 different photos around the community. One will be posted every day on Facebook, and if you guess it, by posting what you think it is, and then we'll pick a winner. If there's a tie, we'll go through and basically just do a drawing, but we're going to give away 25 chamber bucks per day.
Per day.
You can do that.
All right.
So,
all right.
So
very
try
fun.
to get a little very fun, drive people into downtown. There'll be an article coming out in the paper probably next week talking about small businesses and how valuable they are into the community. So please take a time to read that because, small businesses create 2/3 of all jobs.
All right.
And in a town like this,
that's really important.
Chewelah, it's a bigger number than that. You have to support those small businesses. All right. So with that, you have a special guest.
I do.
A special lady.
I do, and she's just been sitting there so patiently and being quiet and giving you all the airtime. And, of course, that's Joan Thompson from the Farmers Market. How you doing, Joan?
Hey, you're doing great.
It's your turn. It's your turn now, and Jean will put the duct tape on Mike.
There were so many things that Mike was talking about that I wanted to jump on. And the last thing he was talking about was Small Business Week that we have coming up, and that the Farmers Market is on, our opening day is May 10. And when I think about small business, I think about the Farmers Market vendors are the really small business where they don't, have it where they can have the infrastructure of a building, but they have a canopy and they have a start and an opportunity to be out there. So to me, that's a huge part of what the Farmers Market provides, is for entrepreneurs to come and bring their goods and have meet the customer at the market.
All right. Very nice. And everybody's excited for that to get started. Now, coming before that, you've got a special dinner going on at Chivino. You want to tell us about that?
We do. Chivino is our classiest restaurant in Chewelah, I think. Okay. We must all agree, right? It's one of our favorites. They have a thing where once a month, the first Thursday of the month, they will donate 10% of whatever their customers order to whatever charity, the charity of the month. And so we, Farmers Market, we just signed up from May 2nd. So come down. You could do the art walk that night and come and have a nice meal at Chivino, and 10% is donated to the Farmers Market.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we'll be there. We'll be handing out our little information postcards and meeting people and bragging about how much fun we're going to have this year.
All right. So now some changes in the farmers market this year I want you to talk about. So anything that's going to be different on the Friday market, and then, of course, we've got the first Wednesdays. So you got to cover both of those. So let's talk about just the basic farmers market that happens every Friday. Any cool changes there you want to throw out?
We just are, every year we just want to be a little bit better, kind of up our game. We're going to have a little bit stronger emphasis on kids' activities. The Kernel program is really cool. Every week, Gina Greenwood is there with her arts and crafts, and every week is different. And then once the kids do their fun little thing, they get a $2 coupon that they can go spend at the farmer's market. So the idea behind that program is that kids will be learning the value of fresh food, having fun, being engaged, and being creative. And then we've got one of the local churches is going to be having, every once in a while, they're going to be bringing some fun games and crafts. And so kids programs will have live music every week in the park.
Nice.
And then we've got lots of new fun vendors. There's kind of a buzz this year where we've got a lot more vendors interested. So we'll have some new vendors, and this year we're going to have, this is what the vendors are excited about, is we're going to have a coffee vendor every week. Crandall's Coffee is going to be there with some goodies. So we come, we set up, and
then they can get their
ready
coffee.
for our
And everybody gets jacked up.
Yeah, ready for the day.
I'm wired by 11.
Yeah.
Sitting in the creek.
Yeah. So that, and one of the things that we're kind of bringing a new emphasis on this year at the Friday market is I met with we had breakfast for volunteers last Saturday, and we fed them and talked about the vision of the farmers market being a place of connection where people, in the park, so much fun going on, music, food, fun shopping, and you can just hang out in the park for as long as you want. And that is kind of a rare thing in our modern world. Mm-hmm. To me, it's kind of a microcosm of the charm of our community of Chewelah, where we have that small town connection going on.
95 events in 1 year.
Yeah.
Plus, 90 plus. Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of covers, I think, the only Friday that we won't have, we won't be in the park is Chautauqua weekend.
Yeah.
So, so we take that weekend off.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to add is, we have a new food and beverage manager at the Rusty Putter.
Yeah.
He has told me that he'll be there every Friday to shop for fresh veggies and fruits for the weekend for the Rusty Putter.
All right.
That is cool.
So throw that out as a challenge to the other restaurants in town.
Well,
I want to know what's for lunch this year at the farmers market.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so what we've got is, Lori Engel has been there for several years with her buffalo burgers and her Burt Valley Farm grass-fed beef burgers, just saying. And some other good things. And
Hey, you just did the same thing about the restaurant.
I know.
Don't be pointing at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Shameless.
Any chance you get.
That's right. Marketing 101.
And then the other idea that is a possibility, we have a couple of 2 or 3 options that we're still getting firmed up on. But one is, you might remember the owners of the Chalet restaurant.
Yes.
They came to our information potluck, and they're talking about maybe coming and bringing some food to the farmers market.
Okay.
They're looking for some fun stuff to do. They live in Spokane, but they're thinking Chewelah Farmers Market might be a fun thing.
It's because once you leave Chewelah, you always want to come back anyways.
I know. we would miss it. Yeah, our hearts
Look
are
how many
here.
people graduate from JHS, go out and kick around the world, and then come back. I'm not the only one. There's tons of them. I know a ton of people that left Chewelah and come back.
Yeah.
And I had a choice. I was like, okay, we're going to move, and we're done doing this thing, and so where do we want to settle down for the rest of our lives? I ended up getting divorced, but that's okay. But it was like, we thought of a couple places. One of our favorite places was the Dells, Wisconsin. And we had it down to Chewelah or the Dells, because the Dells are the perfect mix of the Midwest and the Northwest. They have the most beautiful forests anywhere to me, because you have all the deciduous trees in the forest as well, rather than just all pine. And when the deciduous trees drop their leaves, you still have all these pine trees, so it still stays green. It doesn't look like, some war zone or something out of Mad Max, because, in the Northwest, when all the leaves, in the Midwest, when all the trees lose their leaves, it's disgusting and brown and depressing. I don't know how people live there. But Wisconsin, I don't, but Wisconsin was different, It's always green, but you still have that. So it was a great mix, but it was a very expensive place to live, so we came back to Chewelah. Which isn't the cheapest place to live either, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I had a niece and her husband that came visiting last summer, and the thing they wanted to hit the most was the farmers market.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they loved it, and so they had so much fun just going around. They had a little boy, and he got to do some of the activities, and they just loved the atmosphere and the food, and they're like, this is a lot cheaper than the farmers markets we have in Utah. And she was just all kinds of excited and took some homespun yarn, and she bought some veggies so they could eat on their trip home. She thought it was the coolest market she'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up with plugging First Wednesdays, because I don't think we covered that yet, right?
Right. Okay, so you were kind of being a little whiny about not having enough activities in the evening downtown.
Yes, a little whiny.
Yeah, that's okay.
He's a big whiny.
We have just been so inspired by the growing activity in Chewelah, like the Christmas city sidewalks that the Chamber did last year. The farmers market had the Christmas fair as part of that. And we're growing. We kind of even spilled out of the building this year. But that kind of really inspired us to, as we were watching people walking up and down and just loving.
How fun is this?
Being in town all together, bumping into friends. So we thought, well, I think we're ready to do something more. And we decided on an evening market. We wanted to bring activity downtown. The experts say that you want to bring the people downtown, because when the people are there, then the businesses will do better, and more businesses will even come. So the more we can bring people downtown, the better for the business, which is the better for all of town. And so we have first Wednesdays of the month starting in June, and from 5 to 8, our vendors will be set up on 2nd Street, and we're kind of taking over the Napa parking lot. Thank you to Mike. And we'll have some kind of a bigger live music. I have my list. We've got Chipped and Broken in June. And July, we have Sarah Brown.
All right, right into the mic, the whole thing.
Sarah Brown. And Killin' Time in August, John Miller and the 7th Street Band. And then Sarah Brown will finish us off in October. We're going to have kind of an Oktoberfest event. So first Wednesday of the month. Yeah.
So we're going to have first Thursday and first Wednesday.
Yes.
All right.
Wow. So
what about the rest of the month? I need some more ideas now.
We need some more
ideas because that's only 1 week out of the month. So we're gonna have to get some other groups to start planning. Maybe we could get like a second Tuesday. Second Tuesday. All right, I'll work on that one.
All right. I was thinking about that, but you've got like the Taste of Chewelah, which will be a downtown event that they bring that out.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the Chautauqua stuff, and then you've got the car show, and then there's more.
Definitely.
From that standpoint, yeah.
Always something to do in Chewelah. Yeah. That's what's strange about it. There's always something to do. When you talk about that 90-plus events, if you're bored, you're not looking. The only place we could tweak that, and I'm really happy about like the stuff on Fridays about the farmers market, because that's the thing when we talk about how great Chewelah is, I always point out, because I still feel it really strongly, we're missing the boat on our kids.
Oh, great segue for me.
We're missing the boat on our kids.
We have our golf for juniors coming up in June.
There you go. This is the kind of stuff we need. It is.
Last year, I was just looking at the numbers, and last year we had 65 kids registered for that for 4 days.
Wow.
And which was a great turnout. Jason said, probably the best turnout since the early 2000s. So people are definitely looking.
And I've heard people say this at the Chamber, and I've heard people say this at the city, is those making the town more kid-friendly and providing that kind of, positive environment type stuff for kids will draw people and businesses to Chewelah if we have that, that infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And that infrastructure, I think, includes better school facilities and things for kids, and maybe even, it'd be great. I know the expense is ridiculous, and how would we talk the Kalispels into building a wellness center here? Where do you come up with that kind of funding to build a multi-million-dollar facility? But it'd be so wonderful if we had something like that in our community.
What a thing that would be for Stevens
We just
County.
need, and I think all the people sitting at this table, I think if one of us won the lottery, we'd go ahead and build it. So I hope one of us will. I hope one of us will wins the lottery, because that would be on my bucket list.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else we missed, you guys?
Creative District's coming along. We're getting closer and closer for the actual application process.
Good.
So we're planning, and if everything falls into place, we'll start promoting it to the public and have some public venue type Q&A type things. Probably around the 1st of June would be my guess. We're dependent a little bit upon the state once we get the application itself is. The application, I would guess right now, is probably 80% done. We've got a couple loose ends we have to bring together with it. It's really a eye-opening experience when you start filling out the application and you find what Chewelah has and what they provide, because that's really what they drive to, is more of a community type environment.
So you would say Chewelah probably already had so much going for it over other...
Yeah, one of the comments that Annette Roth said from the Washington State Arts was, Chewelah is already a creative district, they just don't know it.
That's nice.
Which is nice, yeah.
So now you're just taking the steps to prove that you are.
Yeah, and hopefully get a little bit of money here to do some things and stuff like that. But that's definitely coming along. So feeling pretty comfortable about that.
All right. I want to thank you personally and the golf club for all your support for public radio.
You're welcome.
And helping us get our antenna system
like I keep
fixed.
telling you, it's easy to support good causes with good people.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Mike Bentz, representing the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, all the hard work he does up there at the Chewelah Golf and Country Club, too, and Joan Thompson at the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, all her work she does with her farmers market, and she's got a great farm, too, called Burnt Valley Farms. You can check that out. Thank you both for being here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's KCHW 102.7. We haven't decided yet. Odd news or community calendar? That's a tough one. You want some fun or you want to be serious, Jim?
I'd rather have fun.
Let's have fun. All
Yeah.
right. That's what we're doing. Stick around. We'll be back right here, right now. Jesus Jones.